Hey guys, hope you're all well. Rob Terry here from obviously Between the Lakes. Um, Now, I want to talk about the 180 day rule, but not specifically about the actual how the rule is and what it does, but more if you don't adhere to it. So there's plenty of people out there talking about the Schengen zone and all of that kind of thing. But what happens if you don't actually do it? What happens if you exceed the 90 days? Um, in the 180-day period. There's not much talk about it and there's not much info. So I've done a bit of digging around and I've found out what it is. So Spain, we're talking about just Spain here. We're not talking about other Schengen countries because the penalties may be different and there are quite some hefty penalties involved in this. So they're going to be different depending on what country is what. And you might even be in a different country. So if I'm looking down there, that's because I've got some notes here because I want to make sure I'm getting this right and I'm not giving you duff information. Just let me sort that chair out. So Spain, as part of the Schengen zone, it adheres to the 90 days in a 108-day rule, which limits non-EU citizens to a maximum stay of 90 days within a rolling 180-day period. If you exceed the 80 to 90 rules, right, so it's not just Spain. So if you spend 2 months, say, in France and then 2 months in Spain, you're exceeding that in the 180-day period. It can lead to a varying number of different things, and again, it depends on what area you're in as to what they may be. They all have some slightly different areas. So I am specifically on this one talking about just Spain and nothing else other than Spain. So other countries, they'll have different rules they may apply. They could be vastly different. So we're just talking about what happens if you're in Spain and you exceed that period. Now, we do know people that have exceeded the periods and it can be wildly vary depending on what they do. Some you'll just get away with it, and but you can't risk it potentially. So the first thing is, if you've done it, because you get tracked now, especially when the new travel rules come in, the ETIAS rules and all of those kind of things, the entry and exit things, that's going to be even more. They're going to be able to track you even further and more closely. So number one, you can get a fine. So overstaying can give you a fine. You get a fine by the government, and that can be anywhere from €500 up to an eye-watering €10,000. Um, Again, it depends on the severity and the length of the overstay. This penalty can also be combined with a ban, so they won't let you back in the country. But yeah, so anywhere between €500 and £10,000. 10,000 obviously being the maximum, but they can also slap a ban on you as well, so you won't be allowed to come back into the area in a certain period or whatever it may be. So that's number one. So the fine, and like I say, that's quite a hefty fine. So number two is deportation. In cases of significant overstays, or if you're found to be working without a permit or any of those things, you can be deported from Spain and the entire Schengen area. So you can't just bugger off to another country abroad or something like that. You're going to have to come back to the UK. So they will deport you. So that's it. So fines, deportation. The third one is an entry ban, a ban on re-entering the Schengen area. Now that's not just Spain. That could be anywhere that is classed in the Schengen area, which is like 30 odd countries, wherever it may be, and that can be for up to 3 years. Um, Especially if it's repeat violations. So we know some people that have gone out there and they're like, oh, yeah, no, they ain't going to matter because, we're just going to stay in the country. But if you get caught by the police or whatever and you're found to be within that, they will sort of kick you out and you could be for a ban of up to 3 years. Now, that's quite a problem. So if you, like us, we've got a property in Spain and we like to visit regularly, you're not going to be able to get that property for up to 3 years if you get an entry ban. So you could get a fine £10,000 maximum, and then an actual ban on top of that as well. Really not good. So that's the third one. Number four, difficulty obtaining any future visas. So overstaying can negatively impact your ability to obtain a long-term visa or residency permits in the future. So if, for example, you've overstayed your welcome and you are then going to look further down the line into getting an actual visa to stay, so you want to go for a non-lucrative visa, or any of the other visas that there are that you can get, because there are a number of digital nomads, different ones like that. It can actually impact negatively against you, and they may actually refuse you because of that. So that's the next one. So going on from there, um, it's then Schengen area complications. An overstay in Spain is considered to be an overstay in any Schengen country, meaning you face entries, you could face other issues getting into other countries. So, for example, if you overstay in Spain, you could have problems getting into France, you could have problems getting into Italy or any of those other countries on top of that as well. And finally, and this is a real kicker as well, you can actually end up serving time in prison. Overstaying, overstaying on an expired visa can lead to a jail sentence of 6 months to a year or more, which is more than likely if you overstay in order to work or you're earning money without the relevant permit. So you really got to be careful, guys. So it's not just 5 things out. You could actually end up getting hard time in prison and having to work. So again, it's not worth the risk. You've got to make sure there's plenty of calculators out there. I'm not going to go and tell you what they all are, but there's plenty of calculators out there that will actually calculate how many days you are, because it's the thing to remember is this rolling period. It's not just everyone thinks it's a fixed period. It's not. It's a rolling period. So you need to make sure you're in that. And there's plenty of calculators online. There's plenty of apps that you can download to do it. So because some of these penalties are quite serious. I mean, £10,000 fine. Not everyone's got that kind of money laying around. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be deported out the country either. And you certainly don't want to be banned. If you've got a property out there, you don't want to be risk getting a ban, which means that you then can't enter that country for up to 3 years. So, like I say, there's six. Is that right? One, two, three, four, five. Yes, six different penalties that can be applied if you do overstay or you exceed that 90 day and 100 rolling 180-day period. So there's fines, deportations, entry bans, difficulty obtaining future visas, Schengen area complications, i.e., you can't get into other countries, that kind of thing, and up to or 6 months to a year in prison or more, depending on what the circumstances are, guys. So it's really, really not worth pushing it and risking it, trying to get an extra few days of holiday out of it just so you can, do it. So don't bother, guys. Just, make sure you stick to the 90-day rules. We'll talk about a little bit roughly because we've had someone said, if you do exceed it, what should you do? Well, we'll roll on to that in a minute next. Right, so if you have exceeded that period, then what should you do? And there are a few things to be aware of. We actually got a bit of advice from somebody we know out there that's actually of a legal background, and they've told us these couple of things. So if you've overstayed, you've already overstayed your welcome, you exceeded your 90 days, the first thing to do is get out as quickly as possible because that will limit um, the extent of a fine, or it will limit any other implications. So the quicker you can get out of the area, the better. But before you do any of that, go and seek some legal advice before dealing with any immigration officials. Find yourself a decent lawyer, solicitor, or whatever it may be out in Spain, and get some actual proper legal advice on it as to what the implications could be. I know people that have exceeded it and have just come through and they've had absolutely nothing. You can try it if you want to, he said, but it's best to get some actual proper legal advice from somebody if you can. And the last thing is avoid re-entry until you are fully clear of what your legal status may be. So it kind of goes without saying, check out and make sure that you know beforehand. So if you are exceeding it, go and get yourself, leave as soon as possible, firstly. Get some legal advice before you do leave and look to getting out as quickly as possible. And then following on from that, don't re-enter into the Schengen. And this isn't just going to be in Spain. This is going to be, although we're talking about Spain and what Spain does if you are exceeding it, it still applies to going to other Schengen areas. So if you've left Spain and you're planning on driving back through to the UK, you've got to go through France as well. That's still going to be classed as a Schengen area. So you need to get out and avoid any other Schengen areas and doing it. So make sure you get some legal advice and speak to somebody properly to find out exactly what is likely to happen to you and what their take on it will be. Get out as soon as possible to try and minimise any amount of fines, that kind of thing, or if it's going to be prison time or whatever. You want to get it out and over and done with as soon as possible, and then avoid re-entry until you fully understand your legal status or you have cleared the 6 month period um, that is the rolling Schengen area thing. So that's what to do if you do get it. But obviously, just be sensible, guys. Just don't exceed it. It's just not worth the risk in the first place, is it? I hope this makes sense to you. There's a lot of videos. I've seen a lot of videos talking about what the rules are for the 90 days in 180, but we've not actually seen any as yet about people talking about what would be the outcome or what the penalties would be. So this is why we've done it, for just to give you an idea of the severity of what could happen to you if you do exceed that period in the Schengen area, guys. So I hope it makes sense to you guys. Please leave a comment below. Do like, share it. It doesn't cost anything to like, share, hit the notification bell, then you will know when videos like this are coming up. So leave you all to it. Speak to you later on, guys.